Bonjour, bienvenue sur FASPS News.
Première émission de radio aujourd'hui. L'équipe ce trimestre est composée de 8 élèves. Sébastien, Wimbia, Gabriel, Alden, Aiden, Isabelle, Sydney et moi-même Théo. Tout est supervisé par Monsieur Lefebvre et Madame Cunard. Aujourd'hui, nous avons décidé d'aller à la rencontre de nos directeurs. Madame Chandler, Monsieur Orillon, Monsieur Thuot, mais aussi à la rencontre de 2 nouveaux élèves de 5e, Julia et Wimbia. Je passe maintenant la parole à Aiden et Alden.
Bonjour, c'est Alden et Aiden et on a avec nous Miss Chandler, Stacy Chandler, qui est le head of middle school. Et on voulait te poser des questions. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Where are you from?
So I grew up in California. When I was about 20 years old, I went to France for the first time and I loved it there, so I ended up living there once I finished my university work for about 20 years. And I've been back for 5 years.
How do you like FASPS compared to your old job?
So I have liked all of the teaching jobs that I have had. I even liked being a waitress, a server in a restaurant. I thought that that was a really enriching experience as well. And I think in every job I've had, I've taken new skills with me and learned additional skills. So I had a great team when I worked at the École Bilingue de Berkeley. I had amazing experiences when I worked at the International School of Paris. There was a lot of diversity in that school. I really liked that, and lots of languages spoken. And now that I'm here at FASP, I'm totally in love with both the students and the teachers. I've met some really great families too. So it's hard to say which I like best. I think I like overall just working with people in the world of education.
Mm-hmm. And also, where did you work before FASPS?
Oh, so it was called École Bilingue de Berkeley. That was the school I was at in California for 5 years before coming here. It was a very similar type of school as it is here, although I'd like to say that I think there's a really nice feeling in this school. I'm very excited to be part of this community. And before I was at FASPS and before I was at École Bilingue de Berkeley, I was at the school called International School of Paris, and that was for 14 years.
Do you like Seattle?
Well, I actually discovered Seattle at an administrative retreat with Mr. Thuot and the rest of the administrators here, where we went to Pike Place and did a treasure hunt, and I can show you the medal because my team actually took the medal in this very high competitive atmosphere. And I did go back to Seattle with my 2 daughters on Saturday to discover Seattle, but I actually live in Bellevue. So a lot of what I've discovered has been in Bellevue and also going to some really nice natural sites. So I've swam in Lake Sammamish twice. I have been hiking at Mount Rainier. I have been hiking up in the Olympic Mountains. So it's been a lot more about the nature. I'm getting ready to discover the city as well.
Okay. What is your favorite thing about FASPS, like the community here?
So when I first was here, I thought it was getting to know all of the administrators who still kept me busy during the summer. But then the faculty came back, so then I thought it was about the faculty. And then the students came back, and then I knew it was about the students.
Do you have plans to expand FASPS in any way?
So expansion in schools is kind of a strange thing. You never do it by yourself. So, and you should know also that you introduced me as the middle school head, but I actually don't hold that title quite yet. I was hired as what's called an interim head, which means I'm here to get to know everybody. Hopefully I'll stay, but we can't be certain. Okay? And so I wouldn't do anything too permanent in this particular year. I think it's also important that what I do is really helping everybody on the different teams here collaborate and decide on what would be best. So I probably wouldn't do anything really big like expand without talking to students, talking with the student council, working in concert with Mr. Aurillon and Mr. Tuot, and consulting with teachers too.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you? Oh, sorry. Never mind. We just asked that question.
What is your view on the middle school computers as a tool for learning?
Oh, but I want to back up because your two questions were maybe similar. I should have mentioned the strategic plan because the strategic plan actually has a whole part of it. It's a document that guides the school with expansion. And so in the strategic plan are parts about like the school's growth, whether or not we would get a high school, how we would go about that. So there are plans in place for that, yeah. So you want to know about laptops?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just like as tools for learning.
So
What do you think of that?
I cannot imagine or even think about what it would be like to work in education anymore without laptops. It's that much part of our lives. All the same, sometimes I see students doing something on a laptop that they might actually do better with different tools. So it really depends. So, for example, sometimes I see students opting to maybe use technology to do art, when maybe it'd be better that they're actually using their hands and like getting out some real old-fashioned pastels and using a really big piece of paper. Not that we can't also do that really nicely with a touch screen, but it's not the same experience. So you have to ask yourself, what experience am I really going for, right? But when I think about like if you have trouble spelling, what it would be like to have to go through your whole education without having access to spell check, I think that would be really sad. And so I'm really excited also about how much we can get organized on laptops, we can store documents on laptops, we can record, so many different ways to learn that are options for us. And also I'm a big fan of coding for students. I'm not a very good coder myself, but when I was in 7th grade, just when computers were becoming part of the world, they weren't even really in education yet. I was allowed to use a really old-fashioned program by Texas Instruments to learn how to code, and it did kind of change me forever as a student. So I think having access to technology is really important.
Okay. Thank you for coming. We appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me. It was fun. I can't wait to hear.
Yeah.
À présent, nous allons avec Gabriel et Sébastien interviewer Monsieur Orion.
Today we have Benjamin Orion, the head of the lower school. So we're going to ask you 10 questions, 5 in English and 5 in French. What is your favorite part about being head of the lower school?
I think that's the contact with the students, and from a wide range of students. There's a lot of students in lower school, it's about 300. And what I like is I can talk with a 3-year-old and 11 years old. So I think that's a big range, and I really like that.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Now for a French question. Qu'est-ce que c'était la partie la plus difficile d'être directeur du primaire?
C'est une question difficile. La partie la plus difficile, c'est certainement des fois de ne pas pouvoir résoudre tous les problèmes, et de faire comprendre à tout le monde, à tous les élèves qu'on est là pour les aider, mais des fois c'est beaucoup de pleurs, beaucoup d'émotions, et c'est jamais facile d'être dans cette situation-là.
Do you have any children of your own?
Yes, 2. One 15-year-old, she's an alumni from FASPS, and a 23-year-old, she's flying on herself, and she's in Hawaii now.
Où es-tu né?
Aix-en-Provence,
Oh,
c'est au Provençal.
okay. How did you end up with this job?
How?
Yeah.
Do you want a truce?
Yeah.
Because actually, it's totally random. It's because my sister, I was done with university and college. I was not, really happy with my life as a student. So my sister wanted to be a teacher, and she said, "Well, why you don't try?" And so I did. And this is 26 years later now. So I'm still enjoying that.
Quel est ton meilleur souvenir de quand tu étais petit?
Petit ou petit grand?
À peu près à notre âge, à nous.
À votre âge, le 6e. La découverte de la... Non, 5e vous êtes maintenant.
Oui.
Oui, pardon. Je crois la découverte de la musique rock, hard rock. C'était l'époque.
Oh, where are you currently living?
Mercer Island.
Tu as déjà répondu à cette question, mais on allait te demander quel type de musique préfères-tu?
Ah ben j'ai changé maintenant.
Ah, ok.
J'aime beaucoup la musique traditionnelle américaine, le bluegrass, mais surtout le blues et le jazz.
Ok.
What job did you want when you were a kid?
When I was a kid, I don't remember that. Not sure. I know that I never envisioned to be a teacher or head of school. That I remember. Maybe astronaut.
Est-ce qu'il y avait des choses en plus que tu veux dire?
Sur quoi? Sur ma vie, sur
Juste
l'école,
sur toi en général.
sur moi. Oui, j'aime beaucoup le foot. Je joue au foot. Et je joue au foot sur Mercer Island, avec une équipe de Mercer Island.
Ok.
This has been with Monsieur Orion, head of the lower school. Merci beaucoup.
Merci
Merci.
de m'avoir sur ce plateau.
Merci Gabriel et Sébastien. Maintenant Wimbia à notre tour.
Bonjour Monsieur Thio.
Bonjour Wimbia, bonjour Théo.
Alors, avez-vous toujours été chef d'établissement?
Alors, j'ai commencé ma carrière dans l'éducation en 1998, donc ça fait déjà quelques années, et en effet, à ce moment-là, j'ai commencé comme chef d'établissement en tant que coopérant du service national, donc en République du Cap-Vert, en Afrique, où j'ai passé donc 2 années en tant que chef d'établissement là-bas. Et après, donc, j'ai fait 4 ans en Turquie, 6 ans à Austin au Texas, et donc là, c'est ma 8e année.
Merci. Où avez-vous enseigné avant de venir à Seattle?
Alors en fait, quand j'ai commencé, je dirigeais l'établissement, mais j'enseignais aussi. Et j'ai enseigné, ma première classe était une classe de CP. Ensuite, j'ai enseigné la 2e année en classe de CE1, CE2. Ensuite, quand je suis allé en Turquie, j'ai enseigné au niveau du collège et du lycée. J'enseignais les matières scientifiques, technologiques, j'enseignais aussi la musique et le sport.
Alors, combien de rentrées avez-vous faites à FASPS?
Alors c'est ma 8e rentrée.
Est-ce que la rentrée s'est bien passée?
Qu'est-ce que vous en pensez, vous?
Oui, moi c'est bien passé, oui,
Moi
aussi.
Alors si la rentrée s'est bien passée pour vous, et bien pour les parents ainsi que pour les enseignants, pour moi elle s'est très bien passée.
Quelle est votre ambition pour cette année?
Tu parles peut-être des projets, des priorités?
Oui.
Alors il y en a quand même plusieurs. J'aimerais qu'on continue à travailler beaucoup sur la diversité, l'inclusion, l'équité. J'aimerais aussi qu'on travaille sur l'aspect socio-émotionnel pour être sûr que tout le monde se sente bien à l'école et qu'on ait une communauté qui soit vibrante, une communauté qui se soutient et qui permette aussi bien aux élèves qu'à tous les acteurs, que ce soit encore une fois les parents, les enseignants, de bien se sentir et de continuer à évoluer. Donc ça c'est une partie. Il y a aussi, j'aimerais qu'on réfléchisse à la place, je suis peut-être un peu long là, donc j'aimerais qu'on réfléchisse à votre place, à vous en tant qu'élève dans notre école, et parce qu'au final on est quand même là pour vous, donc à savoir comment on peut vous aider pour que vous continuiez à apprendre, et à apprendre dans de bonnes conditions, et que vous sachiez exactement où vous allez aussi vous-même.
Donc la dernière question, avez-vous déjà pensé à agrandir l'établissement, à faire peut-être, parce que tous les années il y a de plus en plus d'élèves, et à un moment je pense que le collège ou toute l'école va devenir trop petite. Est-ce que vous pensez déjà à agrandir, à trouver un plus grand terrain ou...
Oui. Alors Théo, ça fait combien d'années que tu es là, toi Théo?
Je pense 8.
8 ans. Donc tu t'es bien rendu compte, comme tu le dis, que l'école a grandi, il y a plus d'élèves. Je ne sais pas si tu es au courant, mais en fait l'école a acheté plusieurs terrains à proximité immédiate de notre campus. Donc on a potentiellement un terrain sur lequel on peut construire une école. Est-ce qu'on construira notre école sur ce terrain-là? Pour l'instant, on ne le sait pas encore. On étudie plusieurs possibilités. Et peut-être une autre chose aussi, je ne sais pas si tu es au courant, mais le conseil d'administration de l'école a décidé d'étudier la possibilité d'ouvrir un lycée. Donc ce qui permettrait à nos élèves de commencer en petite section maternelle et d'aller jusqu'à la classe de terminale, voire même pas pour ceux qui viendraient d'intégrer directement le lycée ou le collège s'ils ont déjà eu une expérience dans un lycée ou un collège à programme français. Donc on a de beaux projets devant nous.
Ok. Merci Monsieur Thuot.
Merci monsieur.
Merci Théo. Merci Wimbia.
Dernière interview du jour avec Sydney, Isabelle et Wimbia.
We're going to be interviewing a new student from DC. His name is Wimbia, so we're just going to ask you a few questions.
How do you feel about being at FASPS?
I like FASPS because there are less students, and so the teachers can focus more on helping the students. So I think that's good.
Is it hard catching up on subjects we learned last year, such as languages or math?
Catching up on the pre-algebra was pretty hard for me.
And languages?
No, not really.
Okay.
Are there things about FASPS that you like or don't like? Do you enjoy FASPS better than your old school?
I like FASPS and my old school equally, and there's nothing really that I like more or that I like less.
Okay. What was your favorite school subject? Has it changed since you've gotten to FASPS?
My favorite school subject is PE, and no, it hasn't changed since.
And the last question, has it been hard to make friends?
Well, I thought it was going to be hard, but then Madame Cunha helped me make some new friends, so I just wanted to say thank you, Madame Cunha.
Okay, and that concludes our session of new students talk.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Merci de nous avoir suivis sur FASPS.